This video is to show you just a couple of things about the spinning star block. So this block is super cute, and the only skill that you need to know is really how to press and how to sew half square triangles. So we've got all of our pieces cut, and I've sewn my half square triangles. So you're going to sew 4 sets of these. They're right sides together with yellow and then a light. These are the 4-inch squares, and you're going to draw a line down the middle, and you're going to sew 1/4 of an inch away. If you're worried about your seam allowances, you can take a scant 1/4 inch, and then they'll have a little bit more to square up. So you're going to put the dark piece on top. You're going to set the seam. So you just put it right on top of the dark, and then you're going to just open up this, and you're going to press it over. And if your dark color is on the top, then that's the way your seam will go. So you put your dark piece up at the top, you set your seam, and then you open up that piece, and you just kind of comb that fabric away, and you press straight. If you're wiggly as you move, then your seam will wiggle. Or if you go like this, sometimes it can make it have a bump right here in the middle. So always press right with the seam. Okay, so then you're going to have 8 of these, 2 from each color combination. And I'm going to show you 2 different ways to square up. So we have to trim these to the right size. Let me just move this hot iron. And I'm going to move my mat. Love those wool pressing mats, by the way. Okay, so you're going to put this on a cutting mat, and I like to use the wool ones. And I'm going to show you 2 different rulers. So this first one is the block lock ruler. So you can see, I hope, that you're not going to trim off a whole bunch. So when you put this on your block to square it, you just want to make sure that you've got just a little thread hanging out on every side. And you trim 1, 2, and then you rotate your mat and do the other 2 sides. So this is a real trick. When you're starting, put your rotary cutter up here on the side and back up, and then go forward to get this first little part. How many of you have cut off the tips, the corners of your rulers? So that will take care of that. And so you trim all 4 edges, and then you do all of them. So I'll do one more time with the block lock. The hardest part about this is getting this seam, that groove, on the right side. So if I was to put it this way, do you see how it's not in the right spot? You can tell because this center line from the very tip of the corner out to there is exactly on the seam. So I just pay attention, I put it on, and I always know that for these blocks today, the light is going to be under the logo. So we're going to put 2 sides, and then the last 2 sides. And you can see they're close. I'm just shaving off just a little tiny bit. So you're going to trim all of them. Now this is the block lock ruler. They're pricey, but I love them. So I have a lot of them. Okay, the next one is the next easiest, and that is to get a 3.5 inch ruler, since these are squaring up to 3.5. And we do the same thing, only we just don't have the groove to nest our seam in. So this line, that diagonal line, is going to go right exactly on the center seam. And then you turn it again, and you make sure that it's all lined up. And again, you want to back up and then move forward, and that'll get them nice and straight. So So as soon as you have these all squared up, you're going to lay your block out. So let me just finish this last one. This is a really easy block this time, and it's big. The pieces are nice and big. Okay, we are ready to lay it out. So I'm going to show you the block, and I hope it fits on our screen. Oh, it doesn't. So I will have to turn my camera. So this is the top. There's 5 rows, and the easiest way to put it together is in a quadrant to start with. Actually, just 5 rows. Never mind. Okay, so you're going to lay it out row by row. So the top row has a red square, one of your light squares, and this is super scrappy, so don't overthink it. And then you're going to do one of your yellows, and then another light, and then another red. And you're just going to sew the rows together. You're going to have 5 rows. Sew them together. Watch your seam allowance. You can sew 1 row and measure it. If it's 15.5, your seam allowances are perfect. And then you're going to press them according to the directions on your pattern. There's arrows to show you. And then you're going to sew the 5 rows together. And that is the spinning star block. Should end up being 15.5 to finish at 15 later.